I will first read a short quote from Guru Rinpoche. This is from a book called Advice from the Lotus Born. I recommend this book, getting it. Advice from the Lotus Born, a collection of Padmasambhava's advice to the Dakinya Shetsogyal and other close disciples. Advice from the Lotus Born. So here's the quote. It is difficult to realize the nature of Ati Yoga, of the great perfection, so train in it! Exclamation mark. This nature is the awakened state of mind. Although your body remains human, your mind arrives at the stage of Buddhahood. No matter how profound, how vast, or how all-encompassing the teachings of the great perfection may be, they are all included within this. Don't meditate on or fabricate even as much as an atom, and don't be distracted for even as much as an instant. A couple of times I mentioned during the practices that we've done so far about this basic knowing. Is it clear to everyone what that means? I've pounded on that for all these retreats we've done so far this year, but is there somebody who's not clear on that?
I'm not really clear about it, but I'm not sure whether you can do anything about it. I'm not clear about it. I mean, I don't really know what to do. You know, I try not to do anything. I guess that's my guideline. And if I notice myself doing anything, I stop.
Well, that's a good one. Well, there are many different pointers, different useful, practical instructions for Ati Yoga practice, Dzogchen practice, and just the one you mentioned is a really good one. He said that, if you didn't hear, he said that when you find yourself from planning or thinking or doing something, you drop it. Just stop doing it. Right? So this maybe just a short note about that knowingness. So Buddha nature has three basic characteristics. One, cognizance or knowingness. It has a knowing quality. Two, it's alive, brimming with life. And three, it's stable, it's still, stability. So if we look at this embodied sitting, sky embodied sky practice, you can reflect this in your own experience as I'm describing it. So feel your body. And at the basis of feeling your body, there is a knowing that you are feeling the body, knowing that the body is being felt. if you look at a thing in front of you, any object, there is seeing of this object. And at the basis of this seeing is knowing of seeing of the object. Like a simple trick for understanding, clarifying that knowing is that pick something, some object to look. So now the energy, your attention goes out through your eyes and your attention attends this object, right? How about if you still see the object, but you completely relax the muscles in the eyes and the head? Now you can again look at the object attentively. It's sort of like aiming at the object with attention. Something happens here in the eyes. It's more piercing. When attention, concentration is there, it's automatically that piercing quality comes. Do you follow me? Yes, good. So now, this piercing intense quality in it, it has to do with the muscles in the eyes, in the area of the eyes. Now relax those muscles. And when you do that, you don't get distracted, at least not during the first few seconds. But your mind kind of starts to float. Like when the grip or that intense attention that was attending the object that you were looking, when it relaxes, your mind kind of just starts to float. Do you follow me?
By starting to float, you mean broadening out?
No, I don't mean broadening out. I mean that it just floats. It's not attending as if grabbing like this, the object. It just stops. It floats. Sort of like floats. Pick another object. Look at that. You can apply a little bit more pressure to it. Look at it more intensely. And as you do that, you notice again the muscles in the eyes, they become more tense, active, right? Now relax the muscles.
While still looking at the object?
Yes, while still looking at the object. There are not that many sounds coming from outside, but listen. Attentively listen to any sounds. It's the same thing. The muscles, the small muscles in the ears, they activate, become tensed. Now relax. While hearing the sounds, relax the ears. Natural hearing, natural seeing, natural state. It's that simple. And then, relating to the topic of the retreat, or one of them, embodiment. Feel into your physical body. First with pressure, with intense attention. As if feeling into the body, sensing into the body. With high attention, heightened attention. And again, there are some muscles that contract because of this attention. Now, while still feeling the body, just relax. Do that again. Feel into the body with more attention. Turning the volume knob of attention a little bit higher. And then relaxing all sensing muscles. The body, the breath can flow freely, effortlessly sensing the body. That's a good word, effortlessly. Effortless mindfulness, that's a classical term. It is difficult to realize the nature of Ati Yoga, of the great perfection, So train in it. This nature is the awakened state of mind. Although your body remains human, your mind arrives at the stage of Buddhahood. What is Buddhahood? Buddha means awake, clearly awake. It is as simple as this. Nothing mystical. Nothing great or sensational. Nothing that is somehow, high. How do you say, like elevated, exalted? Nothing like that. Very simple, direct. Immanent? Immanent? No, immanent. Immanent. Intimate. So, Padmasambhava, he recommends training in it. Many kinds of trainings can be done. Like we are chanting mantras here and doing bodhicitta, compassionate prayers, and in open heart yoga there are all kinds of technical tricks. But really, the whole path, everything that Dharma, Buddhism, where it crystallizes, is these points that we have gone through during the last 10 minutes. Just a few days ago, I posted a video in YouTube, and I posted it at our Facebook Sangha of Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche, who was a famous Tibetan Dzogchen master who passed away in 97. And he said the same thing. If you know how to recognize this nature of mind, that's all you need. Okay? Is that point clear? But then the reason why half of the time on this retreat and other retreats we practice all these techniques is because it is effective in terms of clarifying, sorting out our stuff. Vipassana is like a Buddhist meditation, like Buddhism talks about two types of meditation, shamatha and vipassana. And vipassana means clarifying, seeing with clarity. So Buddhism also talks about selflessness or emptiness of phenomena and self. So, Vipassana can be practiced in a simple, sutric manner, which means being aware of any thoughts, emotions, and energies that you feel. That's sutric Vipassana, sutra style Vipassana. Then there is tantric Vipassana, which means tantric practice always means receiving empowerment, working with guru or gurus, and then practicing mantras, breath work, visualizations, mudras. So tantric Vipassana, the tantric way of coming to clarity of seeing, is doing all these techniques. The outcome of tantric Vipassana is the same as with sutric. You just realize all these selfing phenomena, what have you, little by little you see that it's all empty, doesn't have a self, doesn't have inherent existence. So, so much stuff we have stored. That needs cleaning out. A bit related to this, somebody has asked, after the Om Ahum Hu chant, I felt annoyed for no apparent reason. Would this be to do with the wrathful deity connections of hum syllable? I felt annoyed after practice. Well, that's good. That's good that it happens. Anger, anxiousness, fearfulness, anxiety. It's good that it happens. It's good that this stuff comes up. That exactly is why, the way how I say it is that, Vajrayana Buddhists have for centuries said that Vajrayana tantric path is the most effective of paths. And my own experience is that it is so because it brings this stuff up. It's sort of like if we have a pot of soup and the good stuff is in the bottom, it scoops the stuff from the bottom, brings it to the surface where you can see the stuff, the good stuff. Just 2 weeks ago, I was reading one of the seniors in Tibetan Buddhism is this elder master called Garchen Rinpoche. He's 80-something years old now. And I was reading one of his practice manuals where there, on the first page, there was like a warning sign. It had a red, like a red
Order.
Yes, like a red box and then white text on it. And this text said something like, I can't remember it verbatim, but it said like, practices described here in this manual, it was a tantric practice manual, will bring up anger. So be wise and bring it onto the path. there exactly is the difficulty and the value of tantric practices. Because, well, I guess, you know, in the long run, you can't help realizing that, but if you just do tantric practice and it brings up anxiousness and fearfulness and greed and all kinds of stuff, and you're just identifying with it, you know, identifying with it, becoming angry, becoming greedy, momentarily become blinded by these obstacles. That is not bringing these obstacles onto the path. Is that correct? Onto the path? Yeah. So those moments, and it's a tricky, because when obstacles come up, it's always later than sooner when we notice that it has already happened, because it happens subconsciously. Right? You've been angry or you've been angry already for a moment and going crazy in your mind, or even acting it out, being angry to others, and then you realize, oh, I'm angry. But still it might continue. So bringing that stuff onto the path means that you train yourself systematically, not giving up. Is it relentlessly? No. Tirelessly. You train yourself in noticing what there is in your mind. Because if you don't, you're not on the path. Then you're just samsaric. That's just samsaric stuff, going around in circles. In May, I think, in Birmingham, I gave a talk about what emptiness is, what emptiness means. And in that text that I wrote, I said something like, practice is that basically the practice is interrupting samsara by recognizing the nature of mind. Interrupting this cyclical mind. Interrupting by becoming aware. Samsara means that you're in the wheel, caught in the wheel, and you don't even know it. Right? This is all very, very simple stuff. But because it happens subconsciously, without us realizing it, knowing it, that's why it takes us by the neck, you know. So, really, the whole path can be condensed, what you already know, through the two-part formula. There is the selfless mode, which is the natural state, and then there is the self-based mode. Any kind of selfing, any kind of emotions, thoughts charged with emotion, subtle energy. So basically the whole path is those two modes. And you just get to the first mode, selfless mode, to be able to illuminate whatever, in whatever way the self arises, so that you can illuminate. And illuminating means that a thing comes up and you stay with it, aware of it, you surrender for it, you give your body, like for example, if it's an emotion, something, anger, the point is not to keep stay, detached from this anger. The thing is that when we are aware when it happens, there's already ideal circumstances for illuminating the obstacle by surrendering to it, giving your body to it. Do you understand?
I've sort of got with anxiety, because I noticed I was pushing it away, almost actively invite it in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But surrendering to it sounds...
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
You mean you allow your body to feel it, like, rather than...
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than judge.
Yes, exactly. Exactly that.
Is it sort of valid to actually say, say to yourself, or whatever, come, welcome, sort of thing? Actually,
sure. Yeah. You can do that. You can invite it in a way, welcome it, or just open yourself. Because the thing is that what is kind of a tricky part, or it actually can be very, very tricky, is that when some thing comes up and it's, there is the primitive reaction, fight or flight, right? So, but when there is this, when the selfless mode is there, just release it. Just let it be. And this illumination, Vipassana happens. And the self-charge, the deluded charge in that obstacle goes out like air from balloon. So train in it with a exclamation mark. So after the chant, I felt annoyed for no apparent reason. It really doesn't, well, tantric practice stirs up the stuff, scoops the bottom of the pot, right? But even if we just did silent sitting, it doesn't matter what the practice is. This happens. You will get annoyed, If we just did some happy dances or something for hours and hours, you would feel annoyed at some point, because that's how the mind is. It's not satisfied, these traits. There's always something wrong with something. And that's okay. You don't have to be, don't be guilty about it. Just understand that this is what samsara is. This is what confusion is. It's a good reminder for myself as well. Sometimes I'm sitting here and talking, and I realize that I'm talking to myself, but I should reminding myself. Then, can you clarify where awareness should be placed during chanting? Where awareness should be placed. So, it's when you chant those syllables or mantras, do it with, not with exertion, not with, holding it too tight, but just being present with voicing of those sounds. Just doing that, as relaxed as possible, being concentrated on the sounds. If you're not concentrated, you will start thinking other stuff. That's how you know that, there should be a little bit more attention. But also, as you already know, this basic knowing, it's there during the chanting as well. It's never not there. So from that basic knowing, just chanting. In a relaxed way, in a joyful way, sort of like dancing with it, so that it subtly massages your body, this bone vibration, just enjoying it, going with the flow.
I find it brings up stuff. I get really restless.
Yeah.
Angry.
Sure.
Sleepy.
Bring it onto the path. Be aware of it. Be with it. Straighten your back. Let's sit a few minutes